Hi again, and I'm back already after only 1 week. I apologize if this is too eager or overload of information, but I'm back here for two reasons. I hadn't planned this, it's just a spontaneous video making because I got reminded of something and I found a good reason to make this video. I found an important reason to make this video. First off, it's because Facebook was so kind as to remind me that on this very same day, 1 year ago, something took place. I wouldn't call it tragic, but something that brought on many feelings, and it made me think a lot about the whole situation. And I found it quite fitting with reason number 2 for making this video, which is WorldMSDay. I found it quite relevant to talk about a less positive topic, which hitherto has been my ambition to keep this channel sort of positive and optimistic. And well, I mean, I guess it reflects my attitude in general, but it's important also to let one's guard down once in a while, or I have to try to make myself do that because I can veil truth by trying to be overly positive. And this is the case to admit defeat and to actually think about the importance of finding a cure for MS, because my case is only one isolated case, very different from everyone else's case, but it shows how much MS can take away from one's life and dreams. But before I get into this less positive topic, let me consider this setting. Let me show you around, because this is my balcony that is probably just as big as the apartment itself, but it's so beautiful. And I have a view over the whole city from here. So I guess it's not only because I want to be sitting in the sun that I chose this as a location for this video, but also to kind of balance out negative with positive. The thing that Facebook reminded me of was that 1 year ago, on this very same day, I was living in Iceland. And it was a very innocent picture of me sitting at home with 2 friends having coffee. And objectively, the experience was amazing. I was living in an apartment for free, and not any apartment. It was a completely majestic apartment that I got through a friend. This is the bedroom. And I can still call it home now. If I want to go back to Iceland, that's still my home. And the picture that I got reminded of was this one. You know, innocently sitting with 2 friends, having coffee at home. This was 2 weeks before leaving Iceland after a 3-month stay, where they had to come to see the apartment before I left it because they'd seen pictures of it and didn't believe that it was real. So I guess a very pleasant experience. But what this picture doesn't show is, firstly, the struggle that lies behind this picture, and the fact that I was 2 weeks away from going home. And at that point, I was more than exhausted. Well, because for me, for as long as I can remember, living in Iceland had been my dream. It was such a big dream that I dedicated my entire student life to fulfilling that dream. Learned Icelandic, studied the culture, studied the literature, know everything about Icelandic music, because I wanted to make sure to be prepared when I went there and to be able to interact with Icelanders in the most natural way, as if I was a local. So in order for me to achieve this dream, I needed to be perfectly fluent in Icelandic, and I didn't want to go before. After feeling that I was confident enough and actually finding a reason that forced me to go, because I needed to go look at some documents up there to write my master's thesis, and I embarked on this journey for 3 months. Moved there. Unfortunately, the euphoria of the first week of being there and hanging out with tons of people and having so much fun, and oh my god, it felt like I was living my dream. I was. Then an overwhelming tiredness creeped into me. One evening, I was invited to an event, but I just had to admit to myself and to other people that I'm too tired. I can't do it. I'm not gonna make it tonight. I'm too tired. And that was the beginning of the 3 months that I was gonna spend there saying no to things and just lying in that, let me show it to you again. Huge, majestic, creepy bed on my own. And there I was, with no internet connection, by the way. So that's what I remember of the 3 months. It's actually lying in that bed, wanting to do things, having the option of doing tons of things. I just had to pass on all of that, and I would just lie in bed. And during the day, attempt to work on my master's thesis. So that's what I was reminded of when I saw that picture. I was also reminded of the fact that I was 2 weeks away from going home, and I had really reached the point of saturation, exhaustion. I mean, I'd spent countless nights in bed, just crying. And I'm not a big crier, but fuck, it sucked. This pleasant afternoon that I spent with friends at home drinking coffee, I remember having to surmount my tiredness. I remember freaking out half an hour before they were coming, and I was like, I'm too tired. I'm not gonna be able to speak to people today. So that's why I was reminded of the whole experience, because that was pretty much my state for the 3 months. And this brings me to the conclusion that this is something MS did. It pretty much took away my childhood dream from me. It destroyed it because I was living it. I'm left with a trauma of Iceland now, so much so that I'm trying to get over it, and pretty much every weekend I'm on my tiptoes about to jump on a plane to Reykjavik, but I can't. I'm paralyzed. And this that was my dream as a child is now one of my biggest fears. So fuck MS, because this is MS's doing. And there goes my contribution to WorldMSDay, because we need to find a cure for it soon. It's not cool that it destroys people's dreams. So, thanks for listening.